Hello there, Rush Nation. How the devil are you doing? You know me, I'm Joel Hatrack, Heart of Gold, and I am here on the 5 Yard Rush NFL podcast with my co hosts Alex, the other one, and Pete, the off season champion. Boyos, how the devil are you?
Fantastic.
Excellent. Survived the round of cuts, the pair of you. Well done, well done. Although I still think there are a couple of hours left, so we'll see. I'm waiting for Rap Sheet to tweet something out and be like, Pete has been cut from the 5 Yard podcast. I'm like, well, we'll give you a couple of days and then we'll see if you'll get if you don't get picked up by Murph on the fantasy side. We're going to bring you in as like a guest every now and again on our practice squad. Or we'll use you for just the daytime when we do a practice podcast. We'll just bring you in when Alex ain't around so I can riff off of you, but then put you to one side so then we can just do the main show.
It's nice to feel loved. Thanks for that.
As long as it could have been either one of you. Right, let's kick it off. Here we go. First thing that we want to have a bit of a chat about, because it's been the biggest fantasy weekend in the calendar year just passed, and we've all had a dabble at fantasy over the time. I mean, we've still got our major one to go, Pete, but we're having a bit of a chat about no matter what, the Vontae Mack of fantasy football when it comes to us. Who are the players that you are? Well, I've done it a little bit differently. Who are the players that you're looking out for? I want to know. I've gone with who are the ones that I just ended up not being able to pass on whenever they were in a reasonable position. Pete, do you want to start us off?
It's kind of an obvious one. It's round 5. It's TreVeyon Henderson, the rookie running back for the New England Patriots. He is outstanding. He's electric. He's got that ability to break those big plays you see from the likes of Jahmyr Gibbs. I can see him being that Jahmyr Gibbs, Alvin Kamara. I think I talked about him on one of our previous shows as well. He's got everything in his locker. He has that added advantage of a mobile quarterback as well, which I think always opens up running lanes for a running back. And Drake May will do that for him. And I don't think Ramondre Stevenson did himself any favours last season. So I don't see him as being a massive threat in terms of a workload. And I think we'll see that ramp up and up and up for TreVeyon Henderson. I know a lot of teams were really, really keen on getting him. And we know what their head coach did last time he had an elite running back in Tennessee with Derrick Henry. I'm not saying TreVeyon is Derrick, but he likes to run the ball, and I think they'll do a fantastic job.
Run him till the wheels fall off. The reason that I'm laughing is just before we started recording, I was saying how for the past 6 years I've been saying that Derrick Henry's washed. So it's interesting that he's already had a mention. Yeah, I think the Patriots are going to come up a few times, probably over this week and probably next week as well. There's a lot of people talking about them, and they drafted new coach Drake May seems like he might be legit. That's you get around the 5th round, was it?
Yeah, I think his current ADP, talking kind of half PPR leagues, is 501. So the beginning of that 5th round. So if you can go wide receiver, maybe even elite quarterback, if you want to go that way, you can still get an RB1 in the 5th round trade off as far as how confident.
Of confidence. Alex, no matter what.
I got Mayfield. I know it's difficult when you're there because a lot of people's strategy, as Peach just said, is either go for in your first 2 rounds, either go for your elite level wide receivers or your elite running backs, depending on what strategy you're kind of trying to pull off, or one of the other if you want, or if you're just a complete weirdo, you draft Patrick Mahomes the first official pick. I'm not a fantasy football guy, so please don't follow any advice that I give you. But my thing is take Baker Mayfield 100%. I know I've just criticised myself completely, but I think that last year was his best year as QB, and I think this year will be even better. I think he really, really fits what Tampa Bay want to do. They've not necessarily improved his weapons around him with the loss of Chris Godwin, but he's still got Money Mike Evans. He's got a lot of different weapons there. He's been talking up the running back room all off season about how good they are. So if he can get anything to them and he can make space for them, and of course he's a miniature running back himself, and we'll just run that QB sneak in the end zone, you aren't going to get nothing but pure points from Baker Mayfield. I think it's really, really good this year for him, and I think the Bucs will do brilliantly.
I just love him as a human being. Like, fantasy aside, I think I've picked him up here and there over the years just because I like the guy. I always draft like with heart over head. I don't win many trophies. I have done last year. But with Baker Mayfield, it's things like seeing him out front, like blocking for people and stuff, where I'm just like, yeah, just go, just smash into somebody. I'm sure he gets told off like when he's back in the QB room for that, but he just like loves the game. And I think his just talk about the man himself as opposed to like fancy, but his just now legendary like Rams game off of 4 days of no practice and just been like, let's just go and have a go. Just absolutely, I've got so much respect for that guy. And yeah, I love him. He's kind of a late rounder, although I'm looking here and you've got QB7 next to him, Pete. Is that right?
Yeah. I think he was it QB5 or something last year that he finished. He was really high up. So yeah, he's been drafted slightly below where he finished. But yeah, people love Baker, and they love his weapons as well. So I can completely get that.
Well, fair play to him. I'm going to take a bit of I was going to say I'm going to take a bit of a swerve. I guess Baker's kind of a swerve, but for me, I just can't seem to stop drafting George Pickens. And I think the first time I did, I'd forgotten that he wasn't a Steeler anymore. So I've taken him mentally as a Pittsburgh Steeler, catching him from Aaron Rodgers, and now the place where I truly would like him to thrive in, even though he's a bit nuts, is with the Cowboys. I think last week I said like the Cowboys were like a team that I've got a sneaky eye on. They get a lot of hate on the internet for being America's team and everything like that. So I've kind of got them classed as an underdog now, and that's where my brain goes to. I'm that annoying. I don't like them until they suck. You know, that's why I'm a big Jets fan. If they ever get successful, I'll stop. But for now, I'm very much in the bless them when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. So lining up opposite CeeDee Lamb, you have to cover him. You've got to either put your best corner out there. You've got double coverage, all of that kind of stuff. So for me, George Pickens, I think he's just going to absolutely explode. And you've got down as wide receiver 29. I think that's there's no way. I think he's top 20. I truly believe that whole offense is just going to come out absolutely swinging this year because they've got to, because they're in a division that's obviously Eagles and Washington both like flew last year. I guess spoiler for a little bit later on, the Giants I've got as a sneaky contender. So then what does that do? That leaves the Cowboys as the lowest run on the ladder. And I think, yeah, the aggressiveness outside of them not wanting to pay the arguably one of the best players in the league. I think, yeah, George Pickens all day. And I was having a look, and I think I've got him in 4 leagues, and he's available like a couple of picks away from me right now. So I might end up with 5 of him, and we've got our League of Record draft at the weekend. So watch this space, although anybody that is in that league might just snipe him out of pure, can't really swear, being a not very nice person. Yes, let's say that.
I really like that as well, because the Cowboys have probably the worst running back room in the league. Assuming the Browns sign Judkins, their running back room stinks, and Dak Prescott is probably one of the more undervalued players as well this offseason. If they're putting his hands and saying, you just sling it and let's be box office, and particularly like you say, if Micah will sign, it's going to happen. But for instance, if that doesn't, it's just going to be throw. And I think every year there's a couple of teams that have 2 kind of wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 players in there. We've seen it with Evans and Godwin in the past, and definitely can see that with Pickens and Cooper. Pickens and CD Lamb.
The flip side of it as well is,
sorry,
the flip side of it as well is we could be sat here talking in January and going, well, that was a mess. Like, that's the fun with the Cowboys, is that we're like bigging this up and going, yeah, this is great. But also you could be looking at George Pickens having 500 yards and 2 touchdowns at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Let's hope not. Like I say, I go on vibes, not necessarily on what the numbers say. What crazy people! If you want numbers, you want to tune in on Thursday night to the flagship with Murph. But you're getting the weird dot text from us. Pete, shock! You have a Chicago Bears your second pick. Hit me.
Yeah, I'm trying to be less Bears heavy, but I think Colston Loveland is just too appetizing of an option. In that Bears, I follow quite a lot of the kind of the preseason. DJ Moore is getting nothing. He is basically running the Deebo Samuel role from the Niners. Anything you hear about him is end rounds and running backs, things like that, and more kind of rush attempts, because he's fantastic with his yak ability is great. But all of the targets are Odunze, Luther Burden, and Colston Loveland. I think, given the emphasis within that offensive, get the ball out quickly. You need to sort out your pocket presence and get the ball out quickly. I think Loveland is an incredibly talented player. There was that talk of during the draft, there was loads and loads of draft calls and trade-up calls being made. And then as soon as the Bears took Loveland, they all stopped. A lot of teams wanted him. He's a really, really smooth runner. He's got fantastic hands, and I think he's just going to be a mismatch, because when you've got Odunze and DJ Moore and the speed of Luther Burden, it's going to be really hard to mark him. And even if they share those targets around, the ceiling for what is acceptable, or the floor for what's acceptable for a tight end, is significantly lower. And if you can get him in the 10th round, you can sort your starting lineup and have a really stellar starting lineup, and then just go and get Loveland in the 10th. He's almost like an afterthought to get him there. I think his ADP might rise a little bit more, but given this point of the season, I don't think it's going to be much more, because people are always nervous of rookie tight ends. What we've seen over the last few years, that's less of a thing now. Teams are starting to realize the benefit of a good tight end and just factor them in more and more and more and more. We saw it with Brock Bowers last year and the like. So I think he will pay back his tight end 12 and then some. He's easily going to be a top 5 tight end, I believe.
Yeah, fair play to you. Drink the Kool-Aid. Do what you need to do. Alex, again, gone. Hit me. You've gone tight end as well.
I
this.
do.
I love this.
Mine
Please.
is Kyle Pitts. Because he's got to do it once. It's got to happen once. It's really got to happen once.
And you think this is the one?
Kyle's going to have a 1,200-yard season with 7 touchdowns. It's going to happen once. It's got to happen. We've talked about that security with it. We've talked about it there. And obviously, Michael Penix is needing a security blanket. And everyone always says, is that offense actually going to actually fire and go and do it there? Penix started an overall 3 games last season. There was there. He had 10 targets for Pitts, 7 catches, 65 yards, and a touchdown. And this is something that you want. If you're looking for that, and you see that relationship's building, that's something that is inevitably going to skyrocket his thing. The fact that also he's tight end 14 it's such a steal really, really late on. So if you're going, oh my God, I've left tight end really late, I don't know who to grab. Take Kyle Pitts. Take Kyle Pitts.
That just feels like a punishment. Like, you've left it that long. You have to, I'm afraid. It's no longer a choice. He's your guy. Gosh, fair play to him. I just want to say evening to Danny, who's tweeting in on Twitter, or whatever they call it nowadays. And then I guess we'll just like go around the horn quickly for the last few. I've taken Jordan Love in a bunch of places because I'm trying my best to go a little bit later on QB. I might have had too many martinis and took Patrick Mahomes very early last year. Still won, but that's regardless of his performance. So Jordan Love for me sits in that real nice like spot of I think that he's set up really well. He's got good weapons. I enjoy watching him play, and that's another thing when I'm selecting fantasy players. It's about whether or not I can bear to watch them on TV. So I don't do very well with teams dressed in red a lot of the time. I find it, I don't know if it's a colorblind thing or if I just don't like it, I find it a bit dull. So I don't tend to watch a lot of the red teams and things. He says as he picked a green team that play on a green field. But I find visually striking whenever like anybody's at Lambeau and stuff. You get the odd snow game as well, and it's just nice. So based on whereabouts I can get him, based on all of the weapons that he's got and stuff, I just enjoy that I'd be able to sit back and not feel too pressured by watching Jordan Love. I haven't had to reach for him. He's just sat in that good spot. This has got him as QB 18. He could easily be QB 26, could be like top 10. Don't have a clue. If he just stays at 18, I'm perfectly happy with that because I've spent all of my draft capital earlier on. And then I don't have to rely so much on Jordan Love.
Yeah. And last year, he played injured for the back half of the season. And before he got injured, in every game he played, he averaged 3 touchdowns a game.
Right.
That is, and that kind of went into that big, massive run in his first, not his rookie season, but his first starting season. He had a fantastic end to that run. I wouldn't be shocked if he was a top 3 quarterback this season at all.
Or if he was bottom 30.
Yeah, they could just pass it off to Josh Jacobs because it worked last year and just you run it in every time, Josh. I'll ease off.
If he plays 17 games, he could be an MVP.
Yeah,
he could. But that's it. He could be an MVP or it could be a massive waste of time. Like that's just it. It could be either. There are definitely like 2 camps in that, and you can see both like outcomes for Jordan Love. But speaking of people with interesting outcomes, Pete, yours got shot.
Yes, he did. Ricky Pearsall in the 7th, I think, is just a steal. A first round, I think it was a late first when the Niners picked him. Ayuk's injured. He looked fantastic at the back end of last season. And a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, that's going to be potentially the number 1 target in a Kyle Shanahan offense in the 7th round with that draft capital. And he's already shown it on the field that he's a really talented player and he's more removed from his holes. I think he can really just burst through. And I mean, we saw it like when Debo just shot up. He just went flying up the ranks because of that fantastic season. Ayuk did the same. I think Pearsall, Kittle's probably going to be the target monster predominantly, but there's going to be so many targets in that offense. They don't have a particularly mobile. We don't have a mobile quarterback at all, and I'm not going to bank on CMC lasting the season upright. Because the odds are in my favor on that front, and so I think he'll pay that draft capital back in spades.
Yeah, absolutely right. You know me, I've got a bit of a thing for the Niners at the moment. Mr. Relevant back there talked a lot about him last week, and yeah, Rick Pearsall he's kind of just reliable, just like bang average enough to be there and get almost a steal. You just see him on your bench, and on the weeks where you need him, you hope that that's the weeks that he kind of breaks out. And I guess finishing off the segment of the no matter what, Alex, with maybe the hottest take that we've had so far in 3 weeks of doing this. Who'd you guarantee that you're going to like aim for?
Tyler Loop.
There he is.
Tyler Loop.
Please enlighten us and the people at home.
Well, for those that don't know, Tyler Loop is the now official named Baltimore Ravens kicker. and he will be kicking for the Baltimore Ravens this year. And everybody knows that if you're gonna draft a kicker, aim for the Baltimore Ravens kicker. Just do it. It used to be Justin Tucker if he wasn't like a problematic individual, and now it's Tyler Loop, and Tyler Loop is the real deal. Tyler Loop is the kicker that we need. In Loop we trust 100%. Tyler Loop obviously made the 61-yard field goal in their preseason 30-3 victory. So you know he's got the leg. You know he's going to be accurate. You know he's going to do it. And I know kickers are really an afterthought for quite a lot of people. But if you want to aim for somebody, aim for Tyler Loop.
There you go. You heard it here first. Out of 9 players that they could choose, breaking into that top 9 is the kicker for the Ravens. Tyler Loop. So I don't even know his first name. I had to Google him when you first said it. I was like, I've got no idea. I thought you went like IDP on me, and I was, had to check it out. God bless him, then. Fantastic work, gents. Let's shift over to some news, shall we? Who wants to kick us off?
I can do that.
Yes.
The Trey Hendrickson finally got paid, and it's about time. It's really tricky because Bengals have got a lot of grief for the way they've handled this, and they should. They had the worst defense for a team that should be a Super Bowl contender. The defense was awful, and the one bright spot was Trey Hendrickson, but he is over 30, and the difficulty for the Bengals owners is that they are not cash rich. So if they want to put guarantees and put that money in to pay people and say, right, we're going to give you this signing bonus, they need a loan from the league. Because most other owners have other sources of income. Their only source of income is the team. So it's really difficult, and it slows these things down for like guaranteed money. Plus, they've stuck all this money in their offense as well. So they might have just maxed out a couple of their cards on Chase and Burrow and Higgins. So I get why it's taken a while. I'm glad they've done it. They drafted the other defensive end, whose name Shamar Turner. They drafted to play opposite him as well. So hopefully that should work really, really well. That should be a positive thing there. But 1 year, $30 million. It's a lot of cheddar for a defensive end. It'd be interesting to see what happens next year. I thought when this happened, it would be on that basis of, we're going to sign you for a year. And his agent would have said, okay, but you're not. I want a clause in there that you are not going to tag me next season. And they've not got that. So they could just go, yeah, we'll pay you this year, and then we'll tag you next year while we figure it out. And they can still just kind of milk it if they need to push it that little bit further. And if they do tag him next year, I think that'll probably be a pay cut compared to this 30. And if not, he'll have a market. It's tricky though at his age, isn't it?
I wonder when it comes to things like this, where it might be words that aren't necessarily in the contract that we know about, where they say, right, well, we're going to pay you this $30 million for 1 year because we are Super Bowl or bust. And it's like, you get us that Super Bowl and we'll have a conversation about it after this year. But if we don't, then, you've got paid, we tried, maybe we try and trade you out and get some like good stuff from it. But at the end of the day, you're getting a lot of money to even just audition for what might be your next job. However, for now, we can afford you a lot of money this year. We're struggling anyway. So it might be worth you just knuckling down, stop pretending like you're going to drive to Florida and just be part of the team. And I mean, they left it too long, but like you say, well, I didn't know that there was like a cash poor. Seems weird when you're talking about owners of an NFL franchise, but God bless them. They had to scrape together and get Hendrickson the money
down the back of the sofa.
Speaking of people getting paid, I don't know if this happened just after or it's been between shows either way, but your friend of mine, Scary Terry McLaurin, gets capital PAID, $96 million, $30 million signing bonus. And we all knew he was going to get some money. I had to have a look into a few things to see his age in that. And he's 29, so he's still got, those full like 3 years in him, as far as I'm concerned. One really weird stat that I didn't notice until I was watching something Rap Sheet was on it, and Terry McLaurin has been both a Redskin, a Washington football team player, and a commander. I had no idea that he'd gone all the way back to the Redskins, which was 2019, which is when he got drafted. Which also throws me that this is now going to be the 7th year that we've what if I've got maths right there, the 6th year that we've watched Terry McLaurin. But I like the guy. I think well done for getting paid like that. I thought it was a bit strange that how good they were last year, that now's the time to kind of rock that boat and not be very like cohesive. Meanwhile, they're also trying to get a new stadium built and fight the president of the United States at the same time about names. And it just felt like maybe everything that they had last year happened because it was just the stars aligned. It might have been a bit of a flash in the pan. And now there's so many distractions out there that Terry's like gonna have to get paid before anything else happens. I always think of Any Given Sunday and like all of the locker room drama. Granted, it's fictional, but all that kind of stuff where you go, oh no, I can see like him just being there, being like I ain't doing nothing until this kind of comes through. And watching Hard Knocks this week when they showed off James Cook getting paid, the most miserable man to make however many $30 million I've ever seen in my entire life, by the way. And I without seeing anything on Terry McLaurin, you just make that kind of snap judgment in a place where you're like, is it worth costing maybe the rest or some bigger names and the chance of an actual Super Bowl to get what you're getting? But they paid him, and I'm pretty certain that these people aren't poor, unlike apparently the Bengals, who are sat on the side of the road with a little tin, just like shaking a cup, just hoping that strangers will help them for their like Hendrickson fund.
Yeah, it's. I'm really happy for him because he's had to put up with a lot of really rubbish play. The last like good quarterback he got was Alex Smith until his leg went to mush. So he's not really had a team around him, and he's played well enough to deserve a team.
He's had 10 quarterbacks as well.
Yeah, that's it. I'm glad that he's finally had that opportunity to get a really, really good quarterback in Jaden Daniels, and then show what he can do and get that wider recognition, because he was a 3rd round pick. So that kind of broader recognition beyond like avid NFL fans might not have been really known. And it makes sense from the team's point of view as well. Like you said, there's all of these distractions. While you've got an excellent QB on a rookie contract, pay that QB's weapons and just go for it. Just go for it. And he's got an offensive-minded OC, like obviously most OCs are, but an aggressive OC in Cliff Kingsbury. So I think this is the right thing for all parties, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And that's everything that I could kind of see for like big money getting chucked about the place. Now we're kind of like moving into the it's that weird part of the year where or the season rather, where it's literally cut day. I'm refreshing things as they go. So news is like breaking as we're like running through all of this. But I've seen somebody wrote in our notes like Jakobi Meyers has requested a trade. I didn't see the news of that myself. I saw the opposite news of the Raiders signing Amari Cooper back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Does anybody know which way round that happened?
Cooper was first. Myers' trade was second.
Right. Yeah, it was certainly a fairly similar time that it was there. I don't think Myers put that request in because Cooper was there and he just thinks he smells funny. I think a lot of this was Myers. I don't know if you think the same, Alex, but I think a lot of this was Myers going, this wide receiver room sucks. And you've brought in a head coach that's 174 in Pete Carroll, and you've got Geno Smith as well. If you want to do something now while they're here, I'm your only weapon, because you've got Zach Besh, and I don't know whether it, depending on when it broke, I don't think the American was probably signed on the dotted line when he put that request in. It was obviously very, very close with the two that were there. But I think he's just seen these others spit the dummy out and get paid, and he's gone, well, what are your options here? The waiver wire, or your only good receiver, or your only proven receiver, I suppose.
I was going to say good is a stretch. Yeah, it was just one of the ones that I found like quite interesting. It's just a strange time to be requesting trades, I reckon, when everyone's like cutting down their rosters and things, like, because now they've got to think, oh, I need to cut somebody else in order to bring Jacob Myers in, and then if that doesn't work out, I might have cut a guy that I actually like would have rather have kept around.
To build on what Pete said, the main reason is because Myers has requested a better contract because that wide receiver room sucks. The Raiders kind of went, hang on a minute, we can get Cooper for way cheaper. Yeah, like we can I guess somebody will pay for me and somebody will do this, somebody will give me that money, and he can then look for that trade when everybody cuts it. And if someone's absolutely after a very below average wide receiver, Jacoby Myers is right there.
He's like, I'm your guy.
Exactly. It's got like a
football things
targets in there.
Do you believe that? Yes,
athletic looking guy.
Who was the kicker for the Colts that had the goggles?
Oh, Blankenship.
Blankenship. Get him on the unassuming white guy team. Let's do that. There's only one cornerback that we could choose, but and he's not very unassuming. However, yeah, we'll put that together. That's some off-season content right there, isn't it? Back to some cuts. Alex, have you had a look at the cuts this week? Has anybody stood out or not stood out? I've written a couple in there, but what you seeing? There
are three that I am just really upset about because I wanted all of them to do well. There's the not good Sanders brother.
Shiloh, put up your Dukes, Sanders. I saw the cross that he put in on whoever that was on the Colts.
He's the equivalent to, I think it's LaMelo Ball, because from the NBA, because you've got Lorenzo, who actually is good, and then you got LaMelo that sucks, or it's the other way around. I'm not entirely sure with the Ball family. Those guys are weird. They are the equivalent of the Sanders family in the NBA. If you want anything, go and spend like 5 minutes deep diving the Ball family on the NBA. Tommy DeVito got cut from the Giants.
Cutlets, mate.
What are we doing, Tommy? Oh man, and yeah, he got that. But there again, he hasn't won a start as a Giant since 2023. So you're probably going to.
Well, that's it. And I put a note in about that as well because again I was looking at Rap Sheet and he was talking like Good Morning Football or something. And he was like, if like Giants fans had a great time with Tommy DeVito, but they'll soon realize that because he won a few games in 2023, he cost them like Jade Daniels and Drake May. Because he just like went out there and gave it his all and was like a fun meme, and like his agent was like kissing his dad in the stand on the cheek, proper like Italiano family stuff. And it was like, this is great, football's fun again. And then they go, oh wait, we could have just tanked that little bit more and ended up. I mean, I think they're going to do okay with the room that they've got. I'd have kept DeVito just for the absolute like vibes. He's gonna just bounce over to another team as like a QB3. He's going to James Winston his way around the league a little bit, I hope. Ironically, James Winston took Tommy DeVito's job, so chalk that one, I hope, however you want. The one that I noticed again from the Bucks was the massive. I don't know if he ever got to 500 pounds when they drafted him, but Desmond Watson from the Bucks, just that absolute unit of a guy. God bless him. Like, the internet is up in arms because he didn't play one snap. He barely practiced. They just wanted him to drop the weights. So they had like lead vests on him and run up and down. There's loads of like pictures of him just looking like a cat with a scratch post, just pushing on some like random like things here and there. And from what I could gather, like he put up a pretty legit 40 like for a guy his size. And he was quite good at the game. They just wanted him to lose the weight. And they've said, get your weight down and we'll sign you back to the practice squad, like when you have done probably October time, if you can do that. I don't think he's going to clear waivers. I think that somebody's going to snap him up, stick him straight on their practice squad and say, right, well, let's try and work with what you've got. And let's see if we can incorporate bringing the weight down at the same time, because at this point, he wouldn't have taken a snap of actual, even practice football for months. So they've kind of hampered him a little bit there, just to try and get him to lose some weight. But I was sad to see him get cut ruthlessly by the Bucks.
Yeah. One of the LA teams will have him roller skating up and down the beach to get that weight down in no time. That'll be the way that it goes.
They could have benefited from having the Bucks on Hard Knocks. I think if they were on Hard Knocks, he'd still be on the team right now.
Yeah, there'd be a montage,
at least until week 5.
Montage scene, and that'd do it.
Yeah, they'd stick him in all sorts of saunas or like Shark Tanks, or just they'd find the weirdest. The producers would be going crazy trying to find the strangest way in Florida that you could get a man to lose weight. And in my head, I'm like, Shark Tank. I should have gone Gator probably, but no, they're bringing sharks in.
The flip side of it is they could have taken it the other way and then gone, yeah, right, he has to lose all this weight because like he's 500 pounds, blah, 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 blah. But this is what he eats in a day. And then they just like do like this man versus food challenge.
Yeah.
And like he completely like destroys it and like smashes it in record time. And everyone's like, hey, it's just 5s. No one cares. It's fine. It's fine. It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. I mean, his heart isn't, but like the rest of him's going to be all right. So then breaking, this is as breaking as I could possibly get. The Seahawks are releasing wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling. He signed a $4 million deal with the club in the off season. Firstly, I didn't know that he'd signed with the Seahawks.
Probably says a lot.
But yeah, a strange move. Valdez-Scantling, he could probably, he's already got the $4 million that he wanted this year. Stick him over at the Raiders, who Jacoby Myers is having a bit of a tizzy about. So do a bit of a switch over there. I've got MVS was a thing. I know he's quite speedy. I don't know if he was on the Super Bowl winning Chiefs. He was definitely on them for some time. I don't know if he was on the off year, so didn't get the ring. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Just the Seahawks cutting a guy after paying him for whatever reason. And then there's one other news story that's Alex, close to your heart, if you want to announce that one for us, mate. This is the big one for TikTok, so don't mess it up.
I messed it up.
He's already messed it up.
I messed it up. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got engaged, everybody.
I'm
did it.
happy that billionaires and millionaires can get along and find love just like the rest of us. More Taylor Swift on TV for me, please. She's going to do the halftime at the Super Bowl. I would rather that than them drag out the Black Eyed Peas again. And plus, they're setting it all up. This is going to be Travis's last season. He will retire at the Super Bowl, but he'll win. The halftime show will be their wedding.
Yes.
I'm bringing it. I'm bringing it all in. So no, we are very happy for. Would she? God, I know that celebrities don't, but like Taylor Kelce, she just has to like re-release. She gets the opportunity to re-release every album as Taylor Kelce, so she can make all of the money again. It writes for itself, to be honest with you. So yeah, we're happy for the Kelce family. They could do with a win, I reckon.
They've had a hard time with it, haven't they? Bless them.
Yeah,
it's a very big deal.
Yeah.
It's a very
Her
big deal.
engagement ring looked like an actual Super Bowl ring as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was a shield, like a full-on, like stop people from raiding, like kind of thing.
Like Green Lantern, just.
She'd make a good Green Lantern, I reckon. Yeah, it is massive, and it brings so many eyes. And they get a lot of guff for like not ramming, but like Taylor Swift being all over the place. But what New Heights got, God knows how many extra million people. She was on it for 2 hours. I thought she was on it for like a quick 10-minute. Here's my album. She did the whole show. They blew the whole thing up. It's the Chiefs are selling all sorts of jerseys in Primark and things and whatnot. And yeah, I think it's fun. So yes, congratulations to them. Neither are going to be on our show. We don't have the time for them, but time differences are different and whatnot. But speaking of time, I just was trying to like segue there onto our mid-show break, the half-time. Pete, hit me up. I've already put the thing in, but you decide on this week's.
Yeah. So as a grown man, I spend an inordinate amount of time considering what my wrestling entrance theme would be. I'm not even a particularly big wrestling fan, but I give it a lot of thought, and there's a lot of things that need to go in. Is it going to build enough for the walk down? Is it going to pop when you kind of ring invasion and just jump in like that? The right answer is Wretches and Kings by Linkin Park, by the way. That song absolutely slapped for an entrance theme.
We have the same like wrestling entrance theme. I posted it on my Facebook 13 years ago, and then I asked you years later, and you were like, "Oh, it's Wretches and Kings by Linkin Park." I'm like, "Wow!" So we have to be a tag team. Yeah.
Yes. So on that, and then also the Virginia Tech walkout. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but if you haven't, get to YouTube and watch Virginia Tech coming out to Enter Sandman, and the goosebumps that will give you. The kind of the entrance build up when they're all jumping in the stands, and then it builds up and just goes flying through. It's utterly incredible. So it got me to thinking, what would you want your team, or maybe another team you think this would really fit? What would be a fantastic walkout song that would just get the crowd absolutely pumping? So again, I've given this an awful lot of thought, and I've kind of got a couple. So I'll probably. Do you want me to jump in first, or do you want to go in first, Joe? All right.
Yeah, no, do your lists, and then do both of yours, and then I'll go through mine.
So I've got a couple. The first one I thought of was Genesis by Justice. If you don't know Justice, they're a French electronic act. Really, really good. Genesis, and their first album is called Cross, and Genesis is literally the soundtrack to the creation, to Genesis. They're French, and they sing a song about religion. I think the Saints, New Orleans Saints, with a big French kind of community, popping out to Genesis by Justice would bang. It's got a really deep build for about a minute, and then it hits, and it will just be electric. I think that would be incredible for the Saints to come out to. So that was the first. And the other one that I would just be great for any team is Kachis by Audio Slave. That that drum build up would just get the energy going, and then it kicks in, and the screaming that's there, the energy just doesn't stop all the way through. It just pops all the way through. I think that's the nearest I can think of that would come to that kind of Enter Sandman excitement.
I like both of them. I need to give Justice more of a shout. I've listened to Genesis because you've got me on that in the past. But Cochise especially, that kind of, I really like the weird, like trickly, like almost water like noise at the very beginning. It's like scratching down the guitar, just like it does something to the hair on my arms. It just goes mental. I went with the best time in music, which is the early 2000s. Anything up to like 05 is like pretty decent for me. So stop me when I'm wrong, because there is no chance. Boom, POD.
Yes.
Just there, and then whatcha, and then everybody's like out of the thing. The whatcha is your time to move. I also went, because I'd just seen him this weekend at Leeds Fest, seeing 10,000-20,000 people all dance along to Rollin' by Limp Bizkit. Honest to God, not just the song being a banger anyway. Everyone loves it. Everyone knows it. But can you imagine the crowd? Just every single person in unison. Yeah. Obviously, there's going to be some mums out there going the opposite way, but it doesn't matter. There'll be some people staying at 10 and 2, and that's all right. But just having an absolute, because it just starts, all right, partner. And you're like, yes, absolutely. There's a reason that The Undertaker came out to it. Slightly deeper cuts. Anybody that likes Busted will know who Fightstar are. Charlie from Busted's like metal band from the early 2000s. It's a track called Waste a Moment, and it just starts a little kind of blinky thing and then just like kicks in with this horribly good drop. Go check that out if you haven't listened to Fightstar. Everything they put out is good. No, it's nothing like Busted, but I love Busted anyway. I'll have no Busted hate on here. Guarantee that's going to be one of the things that gets clipped out and stuck on TikTok, because we feed all of this into a robot and then it decides on things. So all of our clips are just going to be Travis Kelce getting engaged and me talking about Busted. And then your friend of mine, The Beautiful Mind, who we're probably going to get on at some point, got me onto the first album by Run the Jewels. And I can't sing any of it for you because they probably wouldn't allow me. And I don't think I get televised, but there's a track from them called Blockbuster Night. And it's just like this horribly like dirty, like low bass, like, and it just gets the crowd going. I was trying not to go all rock. I thought I'd like drop some hip hop in there, but yeah, that's me. Alex, you've got some for us.
Yeah, I went really basic. You guys have gone really like niche and cool, and all these bands are all amazing, and all of this stuff. I went basic. I just went really simple. I went Thunderstruck, AC/DC.
Classics are a classic for a reason, Alex.
Yeah.
Like, if you want energetic and you want that like loudness and the explosion and the pure drop of like the guitar and everything just riffing and everyone knowing what it is immediately as soon as it's there. The build, then the thunder, bam, and it's just like immediately that's when everybody comes out. That's what you want from AC/DC, Thunderstruck. And then the other one that I went to was, I then thought, hang on a minute, what if we get a crowd one where the crowd knows every word and everyone knows every single word and everyone is singing it at every single second of it? Because I thought of and I've got Newcastle United pairing from earlier, but I thought of Liverpool and You'll Never Walk Alone before all their players come out and the game starts in football, where everyone always sings You'll Never Walk Alone together. Like, if you sing Seven Nation Army and the entire crowd is singing it, you get goosebumps. It's just one of those that you cannot not do it. So the White Stripes, Seven Nation Army is the other one. And you can pick and choose where you want. But Thunderstruck by AC/DC is the one. If you are thinking of it, that's the one. That's what I would like my wrestling entrance music to be as well.
Nice.
Gets everybody going. Everyone can sing along to that.
Yeah,
love it.
And if you're a fan of Seven Nation Army, I'd recommend the Glitch Mob remix, because it just kind of overcooks the bass and just gives it a bit more oomph. It loosens your bowels when you're listening to it. It's
that's the stuff.
fantastic. It's such
This
a
was
good,
our
but
excuse to
subtle
like nerd
remix.
out about a bit of music in the middle of it. We don't have a music podcast, but maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Let's just see. It's just stuff that we like to listen to. Just like you talk to your dad, where you're just like, oh, have you listened to this? Oh yeah, it's really good. You ever listen to that? Oh yeah, also quite good. Heck of a music podcast that we put together there. But that leads us into our topic of the show. Topic of the show: surprise playoff run. Peter Melia, you brought this to our attention. And quote: "Will there be another Washington this season? A team that goes from being poor last season to a playoff run." Hit me, brother. You started it.
Yeah, and obviously they went from second overall pick last year to NFC Championship game.
Yep.
Now I don't think
Should have won.
Yeah. And I don't think that they we're probably going to get that this year. I think that's a rarity. But there's going to be some teams that it happens every year. Someone just is significantly better than they were, and they really just ramp it up. And for me, I think because of what they've done and how they've addressed the right positions, I think the Jacksonville Jaguars could do that. I really think the reason I say that it's still a long shot, but there's a number of reasons for that. They already have a QB in place. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy, but he's a good quarterback. He's a solid NFL quarterback. Is Trevor Lawrence? He's not what we thought he was going to be coming out, but we saw last year he could support an elite wide receiver. Brian Thomas Jr. looked great. The biggest issue that they had this last season was their secondary was so bad. I mean, the defense in general was bad, but the secondary was so bad. It was the Jaguars, who are notoriously consistently pants. They had their franchise record for number of yards given up. There was nearly 5,000 yards over the 17 games. It was horrendously bad on a week in, week out basis. Even their home advantage, they got smushed by a very bad Bears team in London with that home advantage they have in London. But they really invested and they moved up. They've got an elite wide receiver. They've got an okay O-line. They've got some pieces on defense. Trayvon Walker is really, really good. He gets stick
from 3 good running backs.
Yeah, they've got a good running back room that's there. Maybe not an elite one, but they've got enough to rotate and keep everybody fresh and do something interesting. If you look at their draft, they just did nothing but defense. They moved up and they traded up to get Travis Hunter. He will open a lot of doors on offense, but I think they're one of those big reasons is they really needed a good corner, an elite corner. And he's a player that would have been, I think I said it before, he would have been in the Heisman running as just a cornerback. He's a fantastic, fantastic cornerback. Then in the next round, in the third round, they drafted another cornerback. They drafted linebackers, and they just went really aggressive on sorting out that defense, as well as getting a Heisman winner on offense to partner up with Brian Thomas Jr. and those running backs. I think if it clicks, and the biggest thing, which I should have mentioned really first, is they brought in Liam Cohen from the Bucs. So we saw what Cohen did for the Bucs last year. He's not great on interviews, but he is a good coach and he's a good offensive mind.
I liked his interview. Duval.
He looked possessed. It was Adam Gase all over again. But I think he worked wonders with Mayfield on that offense last year. And if he can do a similar thing for Trevor Lawrence, they can really just ramp up. And it's not like they've got a difficult division. They've got the worst division in football.
I'm going to say the NFC South might be the worst division in football.
Jags, Titans, Colts, and who's in the NFC South? Who's the fourth team? Texans. The Texans are in there.
You already said Texans. Now I've lost it.
Titans, Texans, Jags, Colts.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
It's not difficult to rack up some wins there. So I think, I can really see them not even being amazing. They might even just go one and done in the playoffs. But from where they were to where that is, I think that wouldn't shock me at all. At all.
The only difference and the only difficulty that I have with the Jags is that their like hierarchy, their front office, and all the behind the scenes is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Like that's the only issue. Like Cohen, you've already said Cohen's brilliant, and Mayfield has said in the offseason multiple times how he's going to miss him, and he was arguably his favorite coach he's ever worked with for a long period of time. Like, Sean McVay was there for like 3 weeks, but like Cohen was his guy, brilliant that he's worked with in the NFL. So he will be great for Trevor Lawrence. I just disagree about Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think his window's gone. I really do. I think if he has another season like he did last season, this season, I think the Jags could be looking in the draft for a QB.
Wow.
Yeah, I do wonder sometimes when it comes to Trevor Lawrence whether or not sometimes the league wants us to have some hype coming up for the draft and be like, this guy is going to be QB of the future. Like, everyone wants to get him. Aren't the Jags lucky to be the ones that have like had such a poor season? Because that means they land Trevor Lawrence. And then he just came out not even like swinging. Just he was just not enough. It always feels like the Jags do everything right out of order, or at least not at the same time. So like right now, run game's really good. Defense sucked. Like back when we still had Blake Bortles, like receiving core was really good, but QB not so great. Front office not being particularly good through most of it. There was years where the defense was just unstoppable. They just kept getting pick sixes. I just know this like from like fancy relevance and stuff. So it feels like they just keep going, focusing on like one thing at a time. Not enough has fallen into place at once, and I agree with Alex. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is really going to push the needle for me. When it comes to like teams that I think are going to like make that leap, the first one I've put is Panthers, and in brackets I put based on division because, like I've just said, NFC South not good. So we already have the New Orleans Saints, who are ethically tanking for the Arch Manning, by like starting Spencer Rattler and whatnot. You're just asking for trouble, really. And I do wonder if there are conversations where they're saying, "Look, guys, if you stick around, we're gonna make a real big push for it next season. Please don't leave us, Cam Jordan." So you've already got that. I go through a thing every year where I pick the win-loss of every single game, usually far too early in the season, but I struggle to find a win for the Saints. I think I've got them down as like maybe one win, and that's a struggle for me. I think I gave them it because I was like, yeah, maybe they're going to have a good week. So already I've written them off. So that's 2 wins there for the Panthers. You've got the Bucks, fair enough. They're going to win that division. I could see if the Panthers get like hot enough, they could sneak a win. That would be enough for that, because then they're also going to get 2 over Atlanta, because Atlanta put some stuff together, but we haven't seen like Penix at all. And last year they were supposed to have put everything together, and Kirk Cousins was supposed to be like the Messiah wandering in. And if Kirk Cousins can't do it, when, arguably, as much as I don't like the guy, he is good at his job, but they didn't protect him enough or give him the room to do it. And yeah, he'd lost a step. So I can just see the Panthers at least taking 5 wins from the division alone. And because they were so bad last year, they've got a reasonable run of games outside of that as well. Plus, I'm a bit of a Bryce Young guy. The more I've kind of like looked into it from doing this and trying to be a little less biased. I think that, plus the almost unheard of like young receivers and whatnot that they've got around them, I can see them, people going, ooh, wildcard spot, be the lowest wildcard spot, and they'll get knocked out in the first round. But I can just see them getting up there, or maybe like sneaking a win here and there. It's happened before. Wildcards have gone all the way because people didn't take them serious enough.
Yeah, Tedman Miller looks good as well. I'm not convinced by Xavier Legette. Chuba Hubbard's a solid running back. So yeah, I can see that happening. Definitely.
Alex,
I just don't like them. I just don't like them. Sorry, what you're saying is legit, and like it is. That is the worst division in football. We've said it. You've heard it here first. It's the worst division in football. But I just don't see it. I really can't. I don't think they're a good team at all.
So then, going from not very good teams to not very good team last year, but could be good this year. Who's your top one?
It's the New England Patriots.
Boom, classic choice. You didn't hear it here first, but you're right.
I mean, when I looked at the list, because I was the last one to do the lists. When I looked at the lists, I saw an edgy pick in the Jags from Pete, and I saw an even edgier pick of the Panthers from Joel, and I'm like, oh, is this the route we're taking here? Right? Okay, let's put the Browns up. No, we can't do the Browns. We can't do it. I've been laughed off this podcast. So let's make the safe choice. The Patriots are the safe choice. The Jets are a dumpster fire. We don't know what the rest of the division is going to be, especially Miami. Is Tua going to actually have a season where he completes the whole 17 games? What's Tyreek Hill doing? What's going on with Miami? And then obviously you've got the other one that is the Bills, that is the unstoppable machine that's going to win the division, and we don't even have to talk about it. But when we're looking at the Patriots, we've got Diggs, we've got Henry Hunter and Austin Hooper as your 1-2 punch and tight end. Now, Hooper's probably not got legs anymore and can't really run, but I quite like Hunter Henry. I really do. So Hooper's your blocking one, and Henry's your catch and receive. Great. Your O-line looks good. Your running backs aren't great, but they're okay, and can if they make space. He's backing up. We obviously talked about the running backs earlier on for the Patriots there earlier on as well in the show. So we can always discuss them and do that. But I honestly think it'll be fun, and I think Drake May, even though some people call him a B-Tech Josh Allen, I think he can make.
Who are these people that you're talking to? Who's rocking a B-Tech? I love it.
He can make that leap, and if he performs anywhere near where we think he could be a Pro Bowler this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think they're good coaching. They've got the players. Their O-line was stank last year. So they took Will Campbell 4th overall, I think. They took him as a tackle. They probably project him as a guard further down the line, but ultimately their line will be better. So yeah, I think they've got the team there to do something spicy this year. Definitely, I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, your number 2 pick feels illegal, Pete.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of caveated it at the beginning of saying there's only so many bad teams that you can believe in. So my number 2 pick, I'm going to go for a team that didn't make the playoffs that I think could make the Super Bowl this year, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. The reason I say that is they had one of the best offenses, potentially the best offense in football last year. They're incredible. Yep. Defensively, they were horrific, but they will improve. I can't see them not improving on where they were last season. They've got in Shamar. Is it Shamar Turner or Shamar Stewart? I keep getting confused. Shamar Turner.
Shamar Stewart.
Shamar Stewart. Okay. Shamar Stewart as that defensive end on the other side, and now they've got Trey Hendrickson there. So I think their defense will be better, and it doesn't take a lot to improve. They'll have I think their strength of schedule is better this year, and I think the Steelers are going to be worse. I think this is when the streak finally ends for Mike Tomlin. I think the Browns don't look. I'm not convinced by the Browns at all. At all, they've got a good defense. I just don't trust their offense because their quarterbacks are the aging Joe Flacco and that guy that's in front of Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. I just don't think it's going to work. So I think they'll get those wins, and I think if it just becomes a shootout, they can hang with anybody. With just slightly league average defense.
Yeah, we gave him the Fat Les Award last week, didn't we? Where it is just score one more than you, and that is pretty much what they'll end up doing.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of talk about their defense and how it really let them down last year. I can't help but feel like that's just one of those. I mean, we all saw it happen, but the narrative surrounding that has to inspire something in that locker room. I'm sure they showed them clips of us from the past couple of weeks, and they're like, "Oh, these three British guys." You would think that was so I'm hoping that we've helped motivate them in any way, shape, or form. I didn't realize how bad they were last year. I knew that Burrow was basically an MVP, but it apparently wins count towards being a valuable player. He should have won it. Not I had 5 run it or anything like that, but it surprised me, and I'd forgotten that they hadn't made it. It kind of blows my mind, and I think out of all of the teams in this list, they are probably the most likely candidate to make it to the Super Bowl out of everything that we've kind of gone for. Because my second team was the Giants, and opposite of the Panthers, it could be the Giants' year to sneak in a little wildcard spot if it wasn't for their division. Now, I've already talked about we've talked about Washington. We barely talk about the Eagles on here, by the way. 3 weeks in, they don't come up very often. The Super Bowl winners don't get a mention. But yeah, so they have got to contend with the Eagles. They've got the Washington football team, aka the Commanders, and now I'm thinking I should have gone sneakier and said the Cowboys, but the Giants look a lot of fun, man. We've said week on week that preseason doesn't matter, but boy, the only highlight packs I've watched this week was going to the Giants because it looked like a good time. So I went over, watched some of that. Jackson Dart looks legit. I'm worried about him losing that necklace, when he plays. That looks expensive to replace. You won't be able to insure that, buddy, because you're on TV showing them what you're doing with it. So I do worry there. But the QB room having a good time. They've got, obviously, they're going to start Russ Wilson, who I think's great. I'll stand by that dude. He didn't have a good season with the Broncos or anything, but I enjoy watching Danger Russ, Mr. Unlimited, play football, and he will for 4 weeks until they put Dart in. But that's fine because he'll get paid. He'll be able to be that QB presence that's gone to multiple Super Bowls, won one, and that's really going to help him out. Winston's there for a bit of fun. Obviously, they've got Malik Neighbors. They're running back. They drafted Scatterbo, who I've got a big crush on. I don't know if he's their number one or not, but he will be at some point. I guarantee you that
he's Tyrone, isn't it? First, he's going to get first team reps to start with.
It is, yeah, Tyrone. Scatterbo is definitely going to throw at least one touchdown this year, which I'm quite looking forward to. I expect he'll kick one, throw one, run one in. He's going to do every score he can. He's going to somehow get a safety and a pick six because apparently he can just do it all. So, yeah, just the fun around all of that. And I think when you're having fun and you're in a division that is going to be tough, where maybe necessarily you're not taking it too serious, where you don't think that you've got the chance of chances, a more relaxed locker room, they could sneak out just enough to get a wild card spot. Come second in that division, possibly. If I've got a funny feeling that the Commanders might drop off. I don't know if I've contradicted myself from earlier, but there's something about the Commanders. Oh yeah, because we were talking about getting paid and everything. there's just something about that where I feel like the difficult second album, it happened to like Cam Newton, which is the closest thing I can kind of look at the Commanders team based on like Cam when he like blew up, and then all of a sudden difficult second year. So I think the Giants could just sneak into that second spot there. I mean, them Cowboys either or, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on that entire division because I just think they're all interesting enough for me to watch. Also, doesn't hurt that they're on the East Coast, which usually means that they're 6 p.m. games, which makes a massive difference. It also makes a difference when I'm drafting people for my fantasy team, by the way. Like, am I ever going to see them on television? No. So I'm not going to take somebody who's always on like Monday Night Football or getting the prime time spots because I want to see my boys. But yes, that's my I guess hot take on my second one. Alex, who's worst first? Or do you have anything to say on the Giants? Because I can just keep talking about them for some reason.
I agree with everything that you've said on the Giants. They are
that,
they are the underdog darlings of everything, and I adore it. I really love that the Giants have managed to turn around their organization before the Jets.
Yeah.
Like, I really like that. That's the one. Everyone always focuses on, the Jets are a mess. The Jets are a mess. Oh yeah, so are the Giants, but they fixed it. The Jets are a mess. Oh, the Giants aren't this year. Oh, okay. And like, it would be good to see a New York team that doesn't suck. Apart from the Yankees, if we follow baseball at all or do anything like that, like it would be good to see that because like, we're not even going to try and talk about the MLS and football over in New York. Yeah, that's weird. But the Giants will be good this year. I like their defense. I really like their defense. I've said it before on the podcast. I'll say it again. I really like their defense. I think it is going to be top 5 this season, and I will never ever say it.
I wasn't even thinking about their defense, but it's Abdul Carter, isn't it, who they took as well? And I mean, we talked a lot about him on our episode a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, you've heard it here first. Giants playoffs.
I really like it. It's a really great pick. But the other one that's a really great pick is the Tennessee Titans.
Spicy, I'd say.
It's the Tennessee Titans, man. Like from legitimately from like worst to first. That's the way that we're going because obviously number 1 pick, garbage, absolutely awful last season. They were not very good. But like if Cam Ward's legit, which by the way, one of the least hyped number 1 picks that I've seen in a very long time. There's been no coverage of him. He got what did he get? He got a documentary that went on that free streaming one, whatever that one's called. Like Tubi TV or Tubi TV or something like that.
Amazing! I didn't know that he got anything.
It's where Rich Eisen like broadcasts his show and does everything like that. I can never remember the name of it. Roku. It's on the Roku channel. Like the Roku channel gave Cam Ward 6-episode documentary that's going to follow him. 6-episode documentary that's going to follow him throughout the course of training camp and how his season's going to progress and do that. And it's going to be free to air on Roku. So woohoo! That's always fun. But like still without the worst broadcast. Whoever's Cam Ward PR guy, please, I will do your PR for free, Cam. No, just let me do it. Let's have number 1 pick, a Superman cape. Let's do it correctly. You're here to save the Titans. You're going to save the Titans. The wide receiver room is incredible. I've talked about Calvin Ridley before on this podcast. I'll talk about him again. I think he's amazing. I also sneakily forgot that they signed Tyler Lockett in free agency.
Ooh,
yeah.
And that's a really good 1-2 punch, in my opinion. Yes, their running back room leaves room to be desired, as Tony Pollard's not exactly lit up the streets very much, but if he can get going, he is one of them people that can catch a heater and really rumble, bumble, and stumble throughout and dominate. So, and their defense is okay as well. Their defense is okay. So if they can go through that division correctly, I think it'll be there. If Cam Ward is a top 15 QB, then it'll be there.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Well, we're coming pretty close to the end. We did all have a third pick, but the clock is ticking. So rattle it off. You have 60 seconds, Pete. Who's your third?
My third, I'd originally just shouted. I originally put in the Broncos, not because they're from worse, because they were a playoff team last year, but they got absolutely smoked in the wildcard round. Just got absolutely destroyed. But I can see them being a legitimate contender. I think Peyton, despite his colourful past, is a fantastic coach. They've got a great running back room. I think Bo Nix is an elite quarterback, and they've got the weapons there. I think they'll continue to grow and improve upon last season.
Some say the best team to wear navy and orange as well.
Some people are wrong. I mean, they're probably not, to be fair, but
God bless you. Okay, next then. I went Niners. Seems weird to say, and I think I've brought them up now every week. So reset the clock on that one. But I didn't even realize until I was looking at this that they were the last place team in the NFC West. Like, what the hell is that all about? Why are the Niners either incredible or terrible? There is no middle ground there, and they're not even a particularly difficult division, especially this year. I think we're looking at rebuilds for the Seahawks, a possible downfall of Stafford for LA, which means they're going to leak some wins where they probably shouldn't do. And depending on what Kyler Murray shows up, really, for the Cardinals, I mean, they're an afterthought for most people. So I can just see the Niners smoking that division completely now. And that's it. Once you've made it into the playoffs, it's really anyone's game. All you've got to do is just sneak in there. But yeah, one to look out for there for the Niners. So Alex, bring us home. Who you got?
I'll pick a legit team because I feel like the Niners is semi-cheating because they are they've got an incredible roster. But the other one that's got an incredible
the NFC West.
The other one that's got an incredible roster, and we've kind of been waiting for them to actually gel together and succeed for probably 4 years of this project, is the Atlanta Falcons.
ATL, yeah.
We've been waiting for it. Let's do it. I talked about Kyle Pitts earlier on in the pod, and how I think he's going to be really good, and obviously Michael Penix is going to be great as well. I really think both of those are going to gel together. But I actually think it's going to be Drake London's breakout year.
Yeah, for me, the Falcons division aside, they are the personification of that horribly drawn stick man meme with a stick just poking it, saying, "Do something." That is just it for the Falcons. They've got every opportunity. They couldn't be given an easier division to kind of slowly rebuild in, and they just haven't. So yeah, I can't see it. I don't think they've done enough for me just yet. I like the idea of Penix. I just need to see him do it at an NFL level, to be honest with you, before I hit on him. But yeah, all good shouts, boyos. We've got one more show before actual football starts, which is incredible. We've managed to somehow start a podcast 4 weeks into the end of the off season when everybody's taking a break. We've decided that now's the time to start talking about it. So next week should be fun. We're going to talk a little bit more about, season predictions and some good bits and pieces. Not a lot of news happens between now and then. Everyone's kind of conservative, just getting their way. So we will still find a way to fill an hour and some change. But that's kind of it. I've got kind of final thoughts. One, I was going to talk a little bit about the Hard Knocks episodes so far. Pretty forgettable. There's, and I quote myself here, happy it's on TV, but I'm kind of bored. They should have followed the Bears. I find that way more interesting this offseason. I know they already followed them before, but watching the Bears smoke the Bills made me go, ooh, I would have loved to have seen how that happened. And then Sockgate, which I'm sure we'll bring up at some point. And then there was a rare, fun moment of this season of of Hard Knocks where they're the improv guy in, and people had to be like an elephant or a Viking or whatnot. That's the Hard Knocks I know and love, when they've got some like daft stuff that I refuse to believe they actually do this unless Hard Knocks are in the building. So that was good for that. But outside of that, one last thing that I really wanted to bring up was we have launched a Pick'em league where it's open to anybody. I'm going to tap up Murph to try and get a prize for the winner of some kind of thing. I'm going to post about it wherever Murph will let me. I think if I hit this button, it might go out to some places. Don't know. But it's called Pick'em and Flick'em. If anybody wants to join it or share it with anybody, we can go for it. I think there's about 6 or 7 people from various listener leagues and whatnot already signed up. But feel free to share them wherever you want. But with that, boys, it has been an absolute pleasure. And as I struggle to find the outro thing, cool outro saying. No, Murph, you don't have to put your hand in your pocket.
Oh,
You do. Yeah, absolutely do. Still recording. End stream. End stream.